There you go. There you go, Mike Vick. He updated his rankings.
Did he?
Yeah. I mean, sometimes you just gotta, you accept criticism, and then you.
I'm just wondering if those are his rankings or is it
He's
somebody
got.
else's?
Well, it's got to be like a poll because he's got like you know people getting votes. You know what I'm saying? Like first place votes. So maybe he's on a thing.
I don't know. A couple people were like, "Who is they?" And I didn't see
Yeah, nobody really
a
answered it.
response.
But I'll tell you this, Mike Vick, if you're listening, come on the pod, brother.
Love to have
Love
you.
to love to talk Group of Five football. I mean, we could even talk about Virginia Tech and how bad they are now, but and their loss to Marshall last week. But that'd be tight. That's probably the biggest. I mean, that's got to be like the biggest name that's tweeted us, right?
I would
I
say
mean,
I would
there's
say
not a whole
yeah,
lot of names bigger than that. I mean, really.
yeah. I mean, I would say he's the biggest, but Jim Nagy be retweeting and
Yeah, Jim Nagy's been
he's never
tagging us in
tagged
some
us though,
stuff.
did he? Has
No,
he
he did
tagged us?
today. You something about UTEP
Okay, yeah, I saw that.
linebacker.
Yeah,
Yeah, yep.
we need to get Jim Nagy on the pod.
But here's the thing. I mean, Jim Nagy's a big name in the football world.
Yeah,
But like, if I told my mom Jim Nagy retweeted me, she'd be like, "Who's that?" If I said Mike Vick,
it's true.
she'd know. She'd know.
I hear that.
Let me go ahead and share this guy from my.
Sharing on all platforms now.
Mm-hmm.
Live on the Twitters, YouTube, Facebook.
America.
America, go to the YouTube right now.
Right now. Hit the like button. Leave us a comment. Join the live chat. We will respond on YouTube, the live chat throughout the show. Shout you guys out. Tell you what, we had some heartbroken fans on the voicemails this week. We definitely have a couple therapy sessions we need to address.
I mean, sorry, I'm buying my wife a women's barbell. Trying to coordinate. Not
I better
new.
hope she's not watching.
I don't know if she's watching. the pink Rogue Bella bar.
Nice.
Somebody, I hope
Sponsored
he's
by the
not watching.
Bella
But he's
Twins?
watching. He's selling this thing for 100 bones. What an idiot! So but I'm like a couple hours away from him, so I'm trying to figure out.
Me in the middle.
Yeah.
Well, they kicked this thing off. I like the Bamber
Yeah.
welding hat, by the way. Shout out.
Big
Yeah,
club.
great
Shout out
hat.
Jared Bamber. Great to see you and your whole squad out there in Murfreesboro. Family, everybody. That guy's living the dream, isn't he?
He is the American dream.
He is.
He is. I mean,
Used
he
to be
looks like
Dusty
Captain
Rhodes. Now
America.
it's Jared Bamber. Ready,
All
Sprouse?
right, Jeff. You just tell me when to go. Welcome into the #1 Group of Five football podcast in all of the universe. This is the Group of Five guys. Our goal is to be the voice for the Group of Five football programs that the mainstream sports media absolutely refuses to do. We need everybody that's watching, everybody that's listening. We need your help. We need you to go to YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your best podcast. Subscribe to the channel. Give us a 5-star rating and review. Leave a comment and tell your family and friends all about us. Follow us on all the social media platforms at Group of Five Guys, or you can go to groupof5guys.com and get you some swag, hats, t-shirts, sweatshirts, beanies, all kind of good stuff on there as the weather starts getting cold. I think we got a quarter zip on there now. So check that out, groupof5guys.com. You can catch our live show every Tuesday night as we recap the weekend. Every Saturday morning, your new favorite pregame show, Group of Five Live, coming to you from Memphis this weekend. On this episode, we're going to recap our trip to Murfreesboro and the Middle Tennessee Colorado State game and plenty more. Hope you enjoy the show. Have you had it from somebody born and raised in Lafayette, Louisiana, at a tailgate? Doubt it.
Lee Corso is a guy who had a retirement party 10 years ago, and yet he still won't leave the office.
Projected getting drafted between the first and third round. Like, that's incredible. The wide receivers are absolutely stacked for the group of 5.
I said Michael Pratt has got to show up and play, and boy did he. 394 yards, 4 touchdowns, 48 rushing yards on the ground, and another touchdown.
Yeah, I really appreciate you do for the group of 5 programs, and I think it's great. I think we should get more of this. But you guys are on the forefront of this, and
so I'm thankful for this. I'm glad that you're talking about the group of 5 because I think they get overlooked.
But it's a ton of fun to watch a guy go to the NFL from a Nevada or a Colorado State or a Middle Tennessee or an App State, and fans follow that kid.
I appreciate what you guys do, truthfully, covering the group of 5. Y'all said it earlier, but the Sun Belt to me is college football.
Jeff, I started getting my Memphis playlist ready for my road trip, my travels. I got about a 6 GPS says 6 hours, 1 minute. I'll probably take a potty break one time, so I'll give it 6.5 hour drive probably. I got a bunch of 3-6 Mafia. I got Yo Gotti, and I got a little Elvis on there. Just mix it up a little bit. Sometimes I can't. I don't know if I can handle 6 hours of music about drinking codeine and Jolly Ranchers and stuff. Can't listen to that too much these days. I got children now, so I got to get that stuff out of the brain. But I'm fired up, man. Have not been to Memphis. Have not been to the Liberty Bowl since 2012, I think, in the play-in days. Which, fun fact, that's the only game I played in, Jeff. And so fired up to be at the Liberty Bowl. It's going to be a big-time football game. 2 group of 5 blue bloods going at it. Boise State at Memphis. 2 teams trying to cement themselves as 2 of the top teams in the group of 5 this year. Still not entirely sure about either one of them. Memphis with a tough loss to Missouri, and then Boise's got 2 tough losses to UCF and then to Washington. So we don't really know a ton about either one of them yet, other than they're typically pretty good. But I'm sure as hell excited to get over there.
Yeah, I can't wait. And same thing with me. I hadn't been to Memphis or the Liberty Bowl since we were there, playing at Middle Tennessee. So I love that stadium. It's absolutely a great place, to play in. Can't wait to watch it as a fan and be there and check it out and meet, the Tiger faithful. I hope there's going to be some good tailgating out there. We can check that out, swing by as many as we can. Maybe check out Beale Street. You got to go Memphis. You got to check out Beale Street, right? Never got the opportunity to do that because we were always in the hotel and driving and that sort of thing. So can't wait, and be the first time seeing Boise State live and in person. We haven't had a chance to make it out west yet, so getting to see them coming to Memphis, it should be a great game. And like you said, both teams at times have looked very good, and then other games not so much. So which team is going to show up this week, and it should be a great matchup.
Memphis had probably the most incredible police escort from the hotel to the stadium that I had ever seen. And then you compare it to when we went to BYU, and we had one cop who was like the campus police, and he was stopping at red lights. Memphis, they got like 10 Tennessee Highway Patrol motorcycles picking you up at every exit, escorting you to the stadium. So I bet these Boise players are going to be like, well, I heard about this place, and you're going to see all the police presence. It might be a little intimidation factor for the Broncos coming down there.
Yeah, it could be.
Memphis is, known to be not the safest place in the world. So, and here's the deal too. That stadium is loud, especially if they fill it up the way it's built like that. It's kind of like it's built similar to like Oregon Stadium, the way I'm not an architect, but the way it's structured, but that thing gets loud. You get 30,000 or more in there, it's going to be cracking.
Yeah, and I'm excited to see how, do the Boise fans travel? What's their what's their faithful gonna, how are they gonna show up? What numbers is it gonna be like? So it should be a fantastic time, and it's an earlier kick. All of our games previously have been afternoon night games, so I'm kind of excited to see like an early afternoon game. So it should be great.
And surely we get good weather this time around. I will be getting there Friday evening, probably around dinner time. So if anybody's out there in Memphis wanting to grab a bite, grab a drink, I'll be out there scouting the place out a little bit Friday evening. So, and then Saturday, I got a couple recommendations on Twitter already about some good tailgates. Really looking forward to that. But should be a hell of a time. But let's talk about Middle Tennessee. Let's talk about the alma mater. Let's talk about our visit there, Murfreesboro. Appreciate everybody that came out and supported us, standing and hanging out behind our show at the tailgate. Absolutely incredible tailgate scene. One of the better tailgate scenes I've seen at Middle in many, many years. And to be quite honest with you, one of the better tailgate scenes I've seen in the group of five in a while. Outside of Statesboro and Boone, I don't think I've seen a whole lot better than that.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I was thoroughly impressed and very, very happy with the showing. Now, I will say this. I don't know if all of them went into the stadium
ain't no way.
After the tailgate, because the way the Grove looked, I mean, it was jumping. There was plenty of people. You had what Greek life Middle was over there. But then you got into the stadium, it looked a little empty. It looked like it didn't transfer. So I don't know what the reasoning behind it is. But damn, if you're going to take the time to set up a tailgate, kick it all day, go into the stadium, man. Those guys need you. They need the support. There's the beer garden in there. They sell beer at all the concession stands. So you can continue that party inside the stadium, because I know they could have used the extra noise on Saturday. What a game it was.
Yeah, it was a hell of a game. I mean, in that beer garden too, like, I don't know how many people are standing in the beer garden, but I think that may have some effect on the way the stadium looks, because there's a ton of people in that beer garden. I mean, that end zone's pretty full. But student section was fine in the lower bowl. It was pretty full, but not a whole lot going on in the upper level. And then to me, man, I hate to say it, it's always the home side. It's always the purchase tickets that's empty. And I spent probably a quarter in the beer garden. I spent a quarter up in the Hendricks Club, and then the rest of the game in the open air box behind the band. And man, I just gotta say, I don't understand. I don't know who to blame here. I don't, and I know I'm being critical because it's Middle and I care about Middle more than anybody else, but it's just dead, man. It's just third and long. There's nothing. There's nobody stands up. And I don't understand it. I used to say, well, they got to play some music and they got to get it, which I agree with that. But at the same time, man, these people know football. They know what downs are important. I think surely they know on a third and long and you're on defense, that's when you're supposed to make noise. But man, on that home side, nobody's doing anything. It's really, really frustrating. I mean, I for as good of tailgate as it is, and as many people seemed so excited about that game, it just, Middle scores a touchdown. They have an early lead. I mean, they're up 17-10 at half, and there's just no energy in there. It's baffling to me. I don't get it, but that's the way it's been. And I don't know what the solution is for it. I don't know what to do.
Yeah, I don't know either. I mean, we promote their games, and as a business owner in this town, I promote them as much as I can. Hell, I'll even yell at some Vol fans that come into my shop that are wearing orange, and I'm like, wait, where did you go to school? Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, makes sense. So I don't really know what the answer is, other than just keep telling people to go to the games, showing up, have people come with us, and we show them a good time. Like, man, this is really fun. Like, I'm going to come next week and try to grassroots it, just do it one person at a time or one family at a time, and get them to support and go to the games. But I don't understand. But it was homecoming, and you would think there was, I don't know how much of that crowd and how much that tailgate was because of homecoming, but I'll say this, it was awesome that we got to see a bunch of old teammates that we hadn't got had the chance to see in years, and and it was just a great time at the tailgate. And most of those guys did come into the game, and then got to see our buddy pregame too, Matt Mummy, running out of the tunnel for the Rams.
Man.
Got to dap him up a little bit, wish him good luck, and they had a great game plan and they got the dub. So
yeah, I'll say, Jeff, you did that this weekend with your buddy Kling. I mean, that's a guy that's not from Murfreesboro, moves to the area, not even a huge college football fan, but he comes out and plays golf with us. He gets a chance to meet the head football coach and the head basketball coach, which, I mean, say what you want, group of 5, mid-major, power 5, whatever. Like, not everybody gets to shake hands and play golf with a head football coach and a head basketball coach of a Division I, athletic program. And then he comes to the tailgate, and I don't know what he told you after, but ain't no way he didn't have a great time at that tailgate. And then he gets to hang out in the box and watch the game. And I mean, that's a guy that probably didn't care before, but I guarantee you he's going to keep, at the very least, he's going to keep tabs on Middle, and he's probably going to go to a few games every season now. And I mean, that's what you do, man, one at a time. If let's say, I don't know what the attendance was there, probably 16, 17,000, maybe a little better than that. If every single person in there did that with one friend, I mean, you double the attendance, you'd fill that stadium next year. But that's what we got to do. We just got to keep taking it grassroots one at a time. But on the field, I mean, it's a pretty good game. I think that the fast screen is the worst play in football. And I think a lot of people agree with me. But for some reason, probably half the offensive coordinators in America think it's the best play in football. But I swear I never see it work. I mean, I never see the play. I mean, they probably ran that play, I mean, I don't know, 15, 16 times, and I don't think any of them got more than like 6 yards. So I don't know. That was disappointing to see. You didn't get Olsen going much. I thought he was going to be a big – I'm talking negative about Middle just because it's the alma mater here. But on the other hand, Colorado State, I mean, they showed up when it counted. And I mean, we said it in the pregame show when Muhammad Kamara came in there, started putting a lot more pressure on Vadiato at quarterback. And I think that – and it ended up on the last drive, it ended up sealing the game.
Yeah, and he had that, fumble recovery for a touchdown, so he definitely affected the game in the second half. But I thought both quarterbacks played really, really well, both well enough to win the game. It just came down to a couple plays, and we say that all the time when you got two good teams playing against each other. Turnovers, 2 or 3 big plays in the game, and that ends up doing with it. But yeah, I'm with you. I mean, Vadiato has shown the ability to push the ball downfield. He did a great job, I thought, running the ball, had a running touchdown as well. I think they need to trust him a little bit more and try and push that. I'm with the fast screens on certain occasions. You're moving fast. You get a big play. You get up. You try and sneak one in and keep that momentum rolling. But I'm with you. I think at times they need to try and maybe it was because of the second half and the pressure by Kamara why they kind of went away from it. But let's keep pushing the ball downfield. You got some guys that can make some plays. I think they're going to be better served letting Vadiato go. Give him, let him play free. Trust the kid. He's shown the ability to do it. Let's roll it. But I thought both quarterbacks did a great job.
What did I'm trying to look up the stat. I'm trying to look up everybody's stat lines, but it was we saw a scout from the Senior Bowl there pregame, and Murph asked him, "Who you here to see?" Torrey Horton, and that's we pretty much said, "Yeah, us too." That guy's special, man.
10 receptions, 99 yards, and 2 touchdowns, and I believe that was a game-winning touchdown that he had, right?
I think he did. He did. He's special. I mean, he's not a he's not a huge specimen. Like, he's not like what's his name, Justin Marshall at Buffalo Tip, but he's just got. He runs great routes. He catches everything thrown his way, and he's decent. I mean, he's not little by any means. So he's gonna be a baller, man. He is a baller.
His ability once he gets the ball in his hands is, he's top of this class. I assume he's going to be coming out after this year. So you just get that guy the ball in space and he returns punts. I don't see how this kid doesn't get drafted. But he's a baller.
he's gonna, I don't think that Colorado State is on the level of a Fresno State or a Boise State or an Air Force right now. But that dude is going to present a big problem for all three for everybody in the Mountain West. So I think if they can find a mismatch in games, it may keep them in some games that they don't necessarily belong in. For example, the Colorado game. And we certainly found out this weekend about Colorado, but I think Colorado overall probably out talents Colorado State, but they just kept running that same route over and over again against him and Torrey Horton, and then he catches it at 2 yards and ends up getting 12 yards every time, and it was the same with Middle. So that guy's special, man, and congrats to Coach Norvell. That's a big bounce back game for them to come off that loss a week ago to Colorado and then travel that far across the country against a really good Middle team and then be down at halftime and come out and win it. I mean, that's an impressive win for them as they get ready to go into conference play for sure. Now we got to talk about this American Conference. But actually, hold on a second. In the show, we had several times on Saturday where I picked one team and you guys all three picked somebody else. So I want to go over them. I wasn't right on all. I think we split it. Troy, I had Troy. You guys all had Western Kentucky. Troy got that win. I had Memphis. You guys all had Missouri. Missouri won. What else? We all took SMU. And we were all wrong on that. I don't remember what the other games. What else was there?
I know we took Tulsa. Tulsa ended up beating NIU. I don't remember what you had though. I think you took Tulsa too.
I don't even remember making a pick on that game.
We just talked about it.
Hold on. App State, Wyoming.
Yeah.
I had Wyoming. You guys all had App State, right? I mean, I'll tell you what, I know ball.
Honestly, can't remember.
I can't remember either. We all had Marshall, right? Over Virginia Tech.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's it.
Yeah, and we all picked Middle.
Well, yeah. Anyway, we gotta get into some of these other games. I think. Did I pick FIU? No, I think I said FIU would cover, but they did not. Anyway, we had some good ones. I mean, there were some really good games. But let's talk about the American. A lot of games, a lot of lopsided games, a lot of Power 5, couple FCS games. Biggest takeaway, Tip, I'm going to start with you on this. Biggest takeaway from the American. Any games stick out to you?
UCF, the South Florida Bulls, with a
US
big-time win. What did I say?
UCF. It's all right.
Sorry about that.
You're going to get the Bull fans all riled
but
up.
I said South Florida Bulls after that, but my mistake.
Well, we're back.
I apologize. Yeah. I apologize.
But did you just claim all of South Florida?
Yeah, I claim the whole state. I claim Middle Tennessee and everybody in Florida.
Sorry, Tip.
Sorry, yeah, go ahead, Tip.
Massive win against Rice. Sprouse, are the South Florida Bulls back 1-0 in the conference, 2-2 right now through 4 weeks? Are they back? I think they're back.
Well, this is more wins. I mean, what have they've had 4 wins over, I think, the last 2.5 years leading up to this. We say this often. You got to learn how to win when you're a team like that. Sometimes it doesn't matter who you play. And we talked about it after that Alabama game where, they weren't going to win that game. Nobody expected them to win that game, but they played them tight and they played well. And then they go beat a Rice team who, in Tip, I think you were spot on with that. You did say Rice would score more than Bama scored against the South Florida defense, which was correct. Trying to look at their schedule the rest of the way. I mean, call me crazy. They might have 3, 4, 5. They might have 6 wins going into the Memphis game into November. They might win their next few games, their next 4 games. They're all winnable. Every one of them is winnable. And then they go to Memphis. They probably lose there, but then they play Temple. Then they play UTSA. You probably lose there. Then they play Charlotte. I mean, this could be an 8-win South Florida team.
They have a realistic chance of winning 8 games this year.
This could be an 8-win South Florida team. You got a new head coach who's trying to build something. You've approved an on-campus stadium. You've broken ground on an indoor. You're in an American conference that you just lost your biggest rival and in-state, who was a power in the conference. I mean, I don't want to say that I have been that I'm ahead of the curve because I've been saying this for 3 years. Maybe I was wrong for 2 years and now I'm finally right. But yeah, dude, I think they are back. I mean, if you can win eight games, potentially 9 with a bowl game, I mean, talk about momentum going into 2024. I mean, this is and their quarterback played fantastic. Brown.
Byron Brown, yeah, freshman quarterback. Yeah, he's looked really well since he's stepped in there in the starting quarterback role. Big time dual threat guy. I mean, he led the team in rushing as well. 14 carries, 82 yards, and a rushing touchdown. So again, this is kind of similar to what we were talking about Louisiana. You know, you see them make a quarterback change, and they're starting to win some ball games. So South Florida Bulls doing the same thing, looking real good right now.
Well, and that's also a place that they can sell as a destination. So if they have some needs in the offseason, they can go into that portal, get local kids to come back. I mean, Tampa is a big time high school football area. You get local kids to come back. You'll probably lose a few, but man, I mean, they could do what SMU and Texas State and Colorado and some of these teams that have cleaned up in the portal. They can certainly do that. And I think they're on their way. Jeff, what about you? Biggest takeaway from the American Conference other than my South Florida Bulls?
Yeah, I'm going to go really quickly. Michael Pratt came back, Tulane. I know it was Nichols, but he had a great game. He's feeling his way back in after missing a couple weeks. But good to see him back out there. But I'm going to go FAU. I think they let one go against Illinois. I think they had a shot to win that game. Casey Thompson is done for the year with a torn ACL, so that's unfortunate. He looked good early on in the season. I know he had a rough patch there, but Daniel Richardson played well enough for the Owls to win. And LaJohntay Wester continues to be the top guy, of that receiving core. He had 13 catches, 137 yards, and a touchdown. If FAU can just kind of get over that hump, if they can carry that momentum, they played well against Illinois into conference, they can beat some teams. I don't know if they're going to win it. I think Tulane is still the top team in that conference. But from this weekend, I think that FAU has a chance to make some noise and win some big games in this conference.
Yeah, and I think what you're going to see with every conference is you're going to see these teams that either lost to some very high-level Power Fives, your top 6 or 10 schools, and maybe lost another game they shouldn't have because of injuries. Once you're going to get into conference play, you get into week 7, week 8, everybody starts, you get some conference wins adding up. And some of these teams that might be 2-2, 1-3 right now, you're going to look up and they're 7-3, 8-2. And so that's what you got to look at. Who's going to click at the right time. But I want to look at, man, we're going there this weekend, but Memphis and Missouri, I'm going to, I said it pregame on Saturday, if Missouri's run defense and Memphis run game, and they held Watson to under 50 yards rushing. And Memphis ain't going to win with that. So Missouri did a really good job stopping the Memphis run. Memphis made it a little closer actually at the end than it probably actually was, scoring a late touchdown. But, Missouri looks like they're a pretty decent team this year. They're undefeated. They're in the top 25 in the AP, but Memphis, they just couldn't get the run game going. So interested to see how they bounce back this week when we are there. Also in the American, SMU lost to TCU. We were wrong about that. Tulsa, big win over NIU. Miami, Florida went up to Temple and beat them pretty good. UTSA, man, I think Tennessee scored on the first play of the game. But UTSA, they sat just about everybody. So that's one that I'm talking about. For example, UTSA, are they sitting there at 1-3 right now? You're going to look up in 8 weeks and they're 9-3. So look out for that team.
Their fans on social media are not happy. I know they're used to winning, so this 1-3 record is a little unfamiliar. You guys haven't been healthy from the start of the season, pretty much. I mean, after game one, Frank Harris he had that toe injury. You haven't had Clark all season. Conference is starting. I think they were trying to rest a lot of their guys, kind of like how Tulane did with Pratt. So UTSA have the ability to make a run. They got to get healthy and do it.
Yeah. And then you had ECU beat Gardner-Webb pretty big. Charlotte, Charlotte played Florida relatively tight. Could have been a little bit of a letdown game from Florida. But either way, I mean, Charlotte's defense played a lot better than they've been playing. You mentioned Tulane. They beat Nichols pretty good. UAB scored some points versus Georgia now. They didn't back down on that game. And I think they played Georgia 2 or 3 years ago and got absolutely blasted. Wasn't quite as bad this year around. Conference USA, we already talked about the middle game. I'm just going to bring it up. We got to talk about Western and Troy. Troy, it's like last year, man. As soon as you start to give up on them, they go out and do something like this. And, boy, they got a monster this week. Didn't think it would be a monster. You didn't think Troy at Georgia State. If you said that preseason, you'd think Troy, that's a Troy blowout. But that's going to be a big-time game. But how did, Jeff, I don't know if you got a chance to watch much of that game. How did Troy stop Western's passing attack?
Austin Reed, he had a fairly good game. Statistically, it wasn't necessarily that. I said this in our pregame show. The way you beat Western is run the ball. And Vidal had a great game, 27 carries, 156 yards, 2 touchdowns, and crucial runs at the end of the game to really seal it off. Couple big first down runs when Western was climbing back in it, trying to make a late push, and they just couldn't get off the field. And Gunnar Watson had a great day. 349 yards passing, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions. That's the key stat. When you play Western, you cannot give that offense extra possessions. They didn't. They controlled the pace of play with Vidal and just pounding them up the middle. And then Western gives up a Hail Mary right before halftime, and then Western has 2 muff punts in the game. And I think that was the difference in the game. The late score where you should get out of that first half, and then the 2 muff punts, which gives possessions to Troy. They took advantage of it. They got the big win, and they got, like you said, a huge one coming up this week.
Do y'all follow Jason Jones on Twitter from Troy? Do you see? So the Hail Mary, ESPN College Football tweeted it out, and it's got like 5 million views, and his business logo is in the end zone of that, and he's just going crazy, ordering CPAPs by the millions right now. Jones Medical Supply. Give you another shout out. We're not going to get 5 million views on this probably, Jason, but give you another shout out. Yeah, his little logo signs in the end zone. That's great. I mean, talk about branding, huh?
Yeah.
Lucky break for him. Maybe not lucky. You got that, and right next to Michelob Ultra sign. So you gonna sell more CPAPs or more Michelob Ultra after that catch? I don't know, but shout out to that kid, Chris Lewis, Troy's receiver. He's had a few like big time catches this year. He had that one-handed snag in week 1 or 2, I think it was, against Kansas State.
Yeah,
so he's gonna get some love.
He came up big, and then again, I think it was in the 4th quarter. I can't remember how much time was left. Troy was driving. They got a penalty. It was like 3rd and forever, and he runs a post route, and Watson drills it on him, but high. And he goes up and gets it. A huge play for a first down, and they end up scoring on that drive with Vidal. So, they made plays when they needed to, and they protected the ball. That's the key in the game.
Yeah. Tip, do you have anything else in Conference USA? I mean, there was a lot of lopsided games in this conference. La Tech went up to Nebraska. I mean, they lost by 2 touchdowns, but played them tight. Jacksonville State's defense is big time. Absolutely big time. I mean, they shut out Eastern Michigan 21-0. They're sitting there at 3-1.
Yep.
Jacksonville State is. So I know they can't play for the championship. Liberty blew out FIU, man. Liberty looks really, really good. Some people are saying that their schedule's been soft, but I mean, they're blowing everybody out. I mean, they're not even playing
this is an
games.
FIU offense that in their first 4 games, they were averaging 25 points per game. So Liberty comes in there on the road and only allows 6 points. And the defense was playing very, very well this game. 5 sacks, a fumble recovery, and an interception. And they were just dominating running the ball. Caden Salter, he only threw for 156 yards, had 2 touchdowns and an interception. But it was the rushing attack. It was Billy Lucas. It was Quentin Cooley. Both rushed for 102 yards. And Caden Salter also had 77 rushing yards and 2 rushing touchdowns of his own. So this was just a classic ground and pound the football and play incredible defense and keep the FIU offense off the field.
I'll say this, and I think people are going to disagree, but I think Liberty is the favorite in the conference as of right now. I mean,
agree.
I think they've passed. Western was the easy favorite preseason, but I think Liberty has looked a lot better than Western. Western just been inconsistent, and they may step it up. I'm sure they will. This will be the week that they to fire on all cylinders against the Blue Raiders in that game on a Thursday night. But Liberty just looks. I mean, they're smoking everybody. It's looking a lot like
they definitely look the best right now on both sides of the ball, right?
Yeah.
So Western Kentucky inconsistent on offense, which is obviously surprising, but the defense has also been inconsistent as well for them.
It's looking an awful lot like we might be spending a Friday in Lynchburg, Virginia, for a little Conference USA championship action.
Boy, Zach Green will be fired up about that.
Zach, what's the tailgate scene like there in Lynchburg? I know you guys get a great crowd, but I mean, I don't want to like make fun of anything, but do you get is there drinking going on? It is a religious school, and so I'm just asking. I mean, I could care less. The atmosphere is the atmosphere, and clearly, if there's not alcohol, they don't need it. Which I will, you don't. If you got a good enough program and a good enough entertainment value, you probably don't need all the drinking. Some schools, you got to have alcohol. Otherwise, it's abysmal to be there. So Liberty, I don't know. I mean, I highly doubt they allow it on campus. So just curious, just checking on that. Maybe Zach can give us the info there. But anyway, it's looking like we're going to have to go Friday night, Conference USA Championship. And then maybe I'm looking at making a little 2-day, a little Friday night action, and then Saturday, depending on – that's what this all depends on. We've got to figure out if Conference USA on that Friday can be close enough to any of the other places that we could go to on Saturday. So,
well, you never know. Got a couple more weeks to go. Crazier things have happened. Teams have climbed from the dust. Not sure the UTEP Miners will do that. That was my pick, but
was that a game we picked? Because I feel like I picked
No.
UNLV.
We talked about it, but we didn't pick them.
Yeah, UNLV, that's another one now.
Yeah.
It's starting to come to fruition, these schools that for years have been bad and have had no reason to be bad. UNLV, South Florida, FIU, like all these schools in these cities that you would think could recruit, and they're starting to look like they're pretty good, and that's only going to help them. But yeah, UNLV, I mean, my God.
Yeah.
Absolute ass kicking.
Put up 45. Hardison has 3 interceptions for UTEP. I don't get it. I honestly
Jeff,
don't.
do we pull the plug on Hardison right now?
I think you at this. I don't know.
I tried to tell y'all.
I think you might have to.
Did you try to tell us,
check.
Tip?
Yep.
Check the
tape.
receipts.
Check it.
We'll have to check the receipts. But shout out UNLV, 307 yards on the ground between a stable of running backs. So
well, and they lost their back from last year in the portal too.
Yep. And Brumfield didn't play. Mayava played, and he played, well enough. Didn't throw it great, but they didn't have to. I mean, they ran the ball all over on him.
Well, yeah, shout out UNLV. Also in the conference, Hawaii beat New Mexico State, which New Mexico State, we got to bring this up now.
Have to.
We got to bring this up. I'm all for rivalry. Who are they? I don't even know who they're playing. New Mexico.
They were playing New Mexico. It was
they're getting ready. They're getting ready to play New Mexico. I'm all for the rivalries. I'm all for the pranks between the fraternities and the sororities and the students. You can't be the starting quarterback for one of the teams and take a piss on their field. Is that what he did? It was on the field?
It was on their practice field. Apparently, I don't know if there's video evidence or what it is, but he takes a leak on the logo.
Jeff.
On their practice. I like this kid before the season, too.
Well, how far away is New Mexico from New Mexico State?
I have no idea.
And why is he there already? mean, like I guess they got to be real close.
Yeah, I mean, I think they were doing probably like a walkthrough or a practice, maybe the day, because you get there the day before. So
Oh, hold on a second. They play this week, don't they? They played Hawaii. New Mexico State played Hawaii. Am I wrong?
Yeah, but they did. This was when they played.
They played.
Yeah, it's just coming out.
The video's coming out late.
Yeah, it's just coming out now that
for
he
God's
peed
sake.
on the logo
Well, then
on
I'm
the
over
practice
it, then.
field.
I don't like that. Statute of limitations. I don't like it.
What, a week and a half?
Yeah, they've already played a game. They've already played. I mean, the game's over with. That sounds like
he's probably gonna get suspended.
Well,
hey, you gotta go. You gotta go.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so paint the picture for me here. Was he out there by himself, or was like the whole team out there? Was it like they in the middle of practice and he was like, I got to take a piss, and he just put a towel around him and went, or was it
the article I read didn't give all the context? It just says that it has come to New Mexico State's attention, and that they will be doling out some type of punishment. So.
Oh no. Yeah, because I mean that game was
2 weeks ago.
Oh yeah, 2 weeks ago. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, it depends. If he snuck in there with a ski mask on, like it was a prank, pissed on the practice field, suspend him. If he was in the middle of practice, didn't want to pee his pants, peed off to the side or something.
They're making it seem like it was
worse.
It was had some intent behind
it. A lot of guys
so.
just go in their pants.
It's true.
Have you ever done that?
No, but I've had a center of mine in the middle of a game.
His name was Jesse Grisham.
It was not Jesse. It was my high school center, and he tells me after the game, he goes, Murph, I'm sorry, but I had to go mid-game, and we were not only in shotgun. So,
yikes. So I mean, I don't know. Like sometimes in games, you're so soaking wet and sweat.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, sweat's pretty gross coming from that area too. So it ain't like, I don't know. It's not the worst thing that could happen, I guess. I've
had worse.
Yeah, I've had better. We gotta move on in the interest of time. Maction, Toledo keeps rolling, man. Toledo's got to be they got to be the favorite. And by the way, we are looking to get up to Toledo some point in this season. So trying to get up to Maction country, trying to kick it with Alex and them up there, the CSC podcast. But Toledo is looking like the place we got to get to. Georgia Southern, I know they're Sunbelt, but they absolutely destroyed Ball State. I think everybody saw that coming. I'm going to tell you this. There's a couple big takeaways from this conference, but my biggest, the Ohio Bobcat defense has been lights out all season long. They haven't allowed more than 2 touchdowns all season. And for all the talk about Curtis Rourke and the offense, this is the first week the offense actually did anything. But they have been shutting down everybody that they play. And if Rourke can be healthy towards the conference play, as we get more and more into conference late in the season, Ohio's got a really strong chance to make a run at this thing. But what else? Tip, what's your biggest takeaway in the MAC?
Yeah, so you got to give a shout out to Central Michigan with a huge win at South Alabama. Kind of surprising to see with how good South Alabama's secondary is. But got to give credit to Central Michigan wide receiver Jesse Pruitt III, 10 receptions, 142 receiving yards, and a touchdown. So a huge win for Central Michigan on the road.
Yeah, big time win. Right after I think I said South Alabama was easily the favorite in the Sun Belt West. They go out and do that, and then Troy beats Western Kentucky, and it's like, oh, maybe it's Troy again. But yeah, that's probably the biggest surprise out of anywhere for the weekend. And honestly, another surprise, they didn't win it, but Akron taking Indiana to overtime.
Yeah, if DJ Irons can figure out how to not throw interceptions, they would win some of these games, because he ran for 141 yards and 2 touchdowns, but he had 2 interceptions, no passing touchdowns. So, you have a chance to win a game like that, you got to get it done. Come on, Akron. Rooting for you guys.
Yeah, I know. Well, Jeff, if about 30 different quarterbacks would stop throwing interceptions and
very
win a lot of
true.
games. So
Very true.
that and kickers missing field goals or extra points and O-line's not being able to block. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on with a lot of these things. But you also had Miami of Ohio took care of business versus Delaware State. Buffalo played Louisiana a little tighter than I expected. But Louisiana,
Yeah, same here. I think we on Saturday, the line was 7 or 7.5, and I know me personally, I was saying like Louisiana's gonna definitely cover that. And well, what do you know? 7 point,
The hook.
7 point. Yeah, I don't know how they
How they
know these
get you,
numbers.
man.
Me and Jeff were talking about this over the weekend. How do they just pick these lines? How do they know? But it is what it is. But credit to Buffalo for keeping that game close. I just think Louisiana has a ton of momentum right now.
Yes, they do. Sitting there 3-1 right now. In a what appears to be a wide open Sun Belt West. I mean, Troy's been a little inconsistent. Now South Alabama I didn't get to watch any of that game, but the fact that they lost to a Central Michigan team that hasn't been great makes me worry about them. Texas State, they didn't look like world beaters this weekend either. So we're about to find out. This is the week where we're really going to start finding out about all these teams. And like I said, you're going to get halfway in the season. Somebody that's already got 3 losses is still only going to have 3 losses, and it's going to look like a completely different season for them. But with Louisiana, man, that guy's it, man. It's another one. They make the quarterback change. It's just it energizes the team a little bit. And again, they just gotta. Now there's going to be some growing pains, so that's where the fans have got to stick with him. The locker room's got to stick with him. But right now, Zion Chris looks to be pretty damn good.
Yeah, Terry Johnson savior.
He did call him that too. So today when Terry Johnson on his call says God bless Raging Cajuns, God bless Group of 5, he's talking about his quarterback. I mean, Terry, come on, man, that's blasphemy. Anyway, Kent State, we knew this was going to happen. They got obliterated by Fresno State. Mountain West is coming up next, but Fresno State, I mean, we had them as the number 1 team in the Group of 5. I think head to head, they might not be quite as good as Tulane, but they hadn't lost yet, and they got 2 Power 5 wins.
Man, that'd be a fun
rolling.
game to watch.
Yes,
oh my gosh.
it would. Yes, it would. Should happen at some point whenever they expand, if they ever expand this thing.
It probably will. It's probably going to be
teams.
the bowl. It's going to be the bowl game matchup.
No,
it might be.
They would do that.
They would.
They did it before. The BCS did it with Boise State and TCU circa 2009.
Hey,
I think
both of these teams could beat Power 5 teams. How about we have them play each other? It's going to happen.
That's what they do. And then neither one of them, and then both teams have the symptom of, man, like you always talk about the Power 5s not wanting to be there when they play in these bowl games. Well, you actually get that when you put 2 Group of 5s against each other, when all they want is a chance to play a top 10 Power 5 team like Tulane got to do last year. But yeah, the committee's going to do whatever they can to avoid that happening again, especially if it's Tulane again, because Tulane, they ain't no fluke with Tulane. But anyway, into the Mountain West.
We got to talk about it.
Yes, we do. Stu, if you're listening, buddy, I'm sorry, man. Wyoming, which I called, by the way. I was the only one that predicted this win. I knew this is what was going to happen. I mean, App State's got the game in the bag, guys. And they go to kick a field goal to make it a touchdown lead. And Wyoming blocks it and houses it. Ja'Cory Hawkins houses it. What was it, 62 yards, 68 yards? Yeah. 62 yards to put Wyoming up, and which ended up being the winning score. A lot of the fans on Twitter are calling for Clark's head again. Bit of an overreaction, in my opinion, because you got to kick the field goal, right?
Yeah.
And he ain't the one that got it blocked. So I don't know, but that's just a tough loss for App State. But you know what, too, man? That's a really good Wyoming team. And if you would have lost in a different fashion, it probably wouldn't hurt as bad. But that's tough, man. But shout out to Wyoming getting that done. It's 2 good teams right there.
It wasn't a pretty win. I mean, it really a pretty performance by either offense. It was kind of a defensive stalemate for the most part. I mean, you have the defensive touchdown on the block kick, and Andrew Peasley, he didn't play great throwing the ball. But I mean, Wyoming did enough to win. They just play great defense. It's just what they do. And then, occasionally they'll have a big offensive game, but if you can hold teams to 19 points, you're going to have a chance to win some ball games.
Yep.
And App State's going to be fine. They're going to be fine. And the one stat I do love from App State, Nate Noel, 30 carries. I love it. Love to see it. I think, I know they already knew, but he's it. I mean, he is there. There's no splitting carries. It looks like for this season, like they had with Cam Peoples last year. He's it. He's going to do great the rest of the year. So is Joey Aguilar. App State's going to be fine.
Yeah, they're just fine. And they've got Monroe, I think, this week, so you should get a nice bounce-back win there. I think we said it in the pregame show. I don't think anybody watched this game, but we said it had the chance to be one of the most exciting games of the weekend. It turned out to be. New Mexico beats UMass 34-31 in overtime. UMass has played some pretty high-scoring, shootout-type games this year. They're a fun team to watch if you can get them on a Thursday night or something when they're on TV and not ESPN Plus. But and then Texas State, they ended up winning handily, but not. They didn't cover. We thought that was a 17.5-point spread, and they did not cover. So Texas State keeps winning. Not quite as impressive as earlier in the year.
Yeah, I think it's just one of those games where you kind of have a little bit of a little bit of an emotional letdown. It's Nevada coming in; they've looked pretty bad all year, and you let them get away with a few things. But is Molly Motti their running back? I hope I said that right. What a monster game by that young man on the ground. If they can run the ball like that, there's not too many teams that are gonna stop the Bobcats. TJ Finley had a solid day, nothing special, but again, just getting wins. Texas State getting wins.
Yeah, just racking them up, and Nevada's on a real struggle right now. And then James Madison goes over to Logan, Utah State, and they keep getting it done. James Madison. Did you see their coach holding the cell phone picture up? There was a controversial call. I didn't even see what the call was. Somebody was out of bounds or something, and somehow somebody had a picture of it on their cell phone, and Signetti showed the ref.
I saw that. I did see that.
I don't want to create enemies with the James Madison people here because they're already a sensitive bunch. But you got one coach, doing the belt thing to the Troy fans on the sideline. You got your head man doing that like he's Patrick Beverly. They're doing all these little antics. It's like they want to be the villain. They want to be it.
Are they trying to be the Coastal of a few years back?
Boy, you're going to offend them with that. They think you want to be Shants, I think. No, dude, I think they just I don't know. I think James Madison, they do get disrespected. Nobody but then again, they can't play for a championship. So what kind of respect can you get if you're not allowed to win? Yeah. But I feel like I don't know. They keep winning games, man. They just keep on rolling.
I was a little, and I know we got to go on, but giving up 38 points to Utah State?
Yeah,
both teams had a ton of turnovers, but that defense has looked really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen them in person. That's a whole lot of points to a Utah State team that struggled this year.
Yeah. And that could have been a letdown tie. They had a really physical, emotional game against Troy. Other games in the Sun Belt. Marshall, for as bad as they looked in week 1 against Albany, they've been rolling. I know Virginia Tech is not great, but they still got 4-star, 5-star players on their roster, and Marshall got it done. Marshall, to me, is still. I picked them to win the conference, but I think they're the favorite, at least in the East right now. Just as far as consistency, and they keep getting it done. Now, there's a lot of teams out there that are making some noise in the Sun Belt. Both teams in Georgia. App State's going to be just fine. James Madison's going to present problems for everybody and ruin somebody's season. But Marshall, man, they just keep getting it done. And I love freaking Owen Porter's quote. Did you guys see that? I retweeted it.
Did see
About
that, yeah.
don't care who they play, P5, G5, Steelers, line it up. But yeah, Marshall's looking really good, and they've got one down of that gauntlet of a schedule. So
it looks like Rasheen Ali's back 100% healthy. He looks fantastic. 27 carries, 174 rushing yards, and 2 touchdowns. So he's going to be the main vocal point of this Marshall offense.
What did Grant Wells do?
He didn't play.
He didn't play.
He was injured.
Oh man. Do you think if he stayed at Marshall, he would still be the starting quarterback at Marshall?
I don't think he would. I don't think he would be. I mean, it's hindsight's 2020. Who knows? But Cam Fancher is quietly he's not super flashy. The kid just wins ball games as the starting quarterback. You can say it's maybe they're really good defense. You know, he didn't have Ali last year. I know he's got him back this year, but he's on like a 9 or 10 game winning streak, you know, continuing from last year. So he's doing enough and making plays with his legs, like enough to win games. And, you know, shout out to him.
But would he have gotten a shot if Grant Wells stayed? That's what I don't think. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, you never know. Too late
Probably
now.
not.
Grant Wells. Old Dominion. I mean, jeez, guys.
They're all over the map.
Wow, I mean, what? 10-9? They're like the Marlins out there. I mean, jeez, dude. They had Texas A&M Commerce. I mean, they're not any good, but I guess a win is a win.
Yep.
You gotta win. You got every team that has that one game a year where they gotta escape.
Yeah. Get to the next one. Get to the next one. They're back.
They're rolling.
Listen, you guys all. This is what I was wrong on. You guys all said this was going to be a good game, and I said, "Ain't no way Southern Miss is going to lose or play a tight game with Arkansas State." But damn it, brick by brick, the Red Wolves got it done.
And they're
how they get it done?
Freshman quarterback Jalen Rayner.
Yep.
Kid had 3 touchdowns passing, another 2 rushing. It's just he just took the game.
Almost 100 yards rushing too. 97
almost
yards.
Yeah. He just
Who
took
did
the
he
game.
take over for? Applin? Is Applin still their quarterback?
No.
That guy's been there since we were playing, I think.
Can't be.
I think he is.
They've had a few. JT Strout was there. Was playing. Jackson Daly.
I put you all on the spot there. It's my fault.
Yeah, it's Strout. He took over for Strout. Daly's played a little bit too, but Rayner gets in there, takes over, man.
Is that the recipe for success? Change quarterbacks. Every team that has been struggling switch to a freshman quarterback.
Not only that, a freshman dual threat quarterback seems to be the
the dual threat allows you to get away with things,
right?
And so that's where, I mean, all these schools we talked about: South Florida, FIU, Louisiana, and now Arkansas State.
It adds a whole nother element to the offense. Like it adds more tools to the tool belt, if you will. So it just looks like not only bringing in these young guys, most of them, if not all of them, are true freshmen, but all of them have been dual threat quarterbacks. So it just seems to be the recipe for success. So they're probably going to keep sticking with them. And
you got to, right?
Yeah, you have to. Yeah, I agree. I think you have to.
Poor Frank Gore, man. I feel bad for that kid.
He had a good game though, didn't he?
I know
he ran for a bunch of yards finally.
Yeah, I mean, he finally got, I feel like the line share of the carries and made something happen with it. I don't know. I love the kid and I want them to be good, but
they're going to be screaming for a change at the head there, because they've had this is now like the 3rd year where they were finally, this was the year they were finally going to click, and they're just not doing it, not getting over the hump. So they're going to be screaming for some change. Real quick, I want to go all 5 conferences. Just give me one word. Give me your, as of end of week 4, give me your favorite in the conference. Jeff, American.
Tulane.
Tip.
Tulane.
Conference USA. Jeff.
Liberty.
Tip.
Liberty.
Mac. Jeff.
Ohio.
What? Tip.
I think
I'm going to go Toledo, but I'm hoping that it is a Toledo versus Ohio championship game, but I'll go Toledo.
Yeah, I got Toledo. Mountain West, Jeff.
Fresno State.
Tip.
Fresno State.
Fresno State, Air Force close. Sun Belt, Murph.
Give me the Bobcats of Texas State.
Woo! Tip.
Are we talking about teams that can play for the championship or cannot play for the championship?
Yeah, don't mention. They're going to get mad
Don't
at
get
you.
them all riled up.
Yeah.
I'm just asking.
Got to be Arkansas State, Tip. I mean,
yeah. Boy, they'll be breaking ground on a new waterfall tonight.
I'll go with Marshall.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Marshall, but there's about 5 of them that. So I don't think we ever came to a conclusion on our on our Southern Roots picks, Jeff. But let's play our Southern Roots commercial. Which, by the way, glad we got to meet him on Saturday.
Yeah,
that was cool, man.
Yeah, he produces the radio show for MTSU, so that's how I got to know him very well last year, traveling on the road with him. So shout out JP. Been super supportive and helpful, and we support those guys over at Southern Roots. So let's get to their commercial. Are you tired of listening to the same? We got just what you need. Southern Roots Radio is an audio magazine rooted in Americana, curating music, culture, and sports to a stubbornly independent audience. Go check them out at southernrootsradio.com, or you can download their app on either the Apple or Google Play Store. Southern Roots Radio. Come on in and stay a while. All right, Sprouse, ready for the picks?
I'm so sorry. I'm over here trying to buy this barbell. This guy's like, when can you meet? I'm like, bro, it's 10 o'clock at night, dude. I'm 4 hours away from you. Like, what do you want me to do? Probably trying to ambush me. Anyway, yeah. Lock of the week, I got Georgia Southern -6.5 versus Coastal. I think I'm sorry, Steeple, but Coastal, they ain't looking that good. I mean, they didn't look fantastic against Jacksonville State when we were there. They obviously looked pretty bad against Georgia State, and Georgia Southern's red hot offensively. So I think this is the one time when you might want to get in a shootout with Grayson McCall and them, and I think Georgia Southern would come out on top. I don't think we came to a consensus, but do you guys agree or disagree with that?
I mean, if they show up like they did last week, yeah, I think Georgia Southern's going to score a lot of points. But, you know, can they flip it around and play a whole lot better defensively, get some pressure on Bryn? You know, they haven't really shown it yet this year defensively. Now, I'm always going to ride with Grayson McCall. I still think he's one of the best quarterbacks in the Sun Belt in the group of 5. But offensive play calling to me has just been not what it's been in the past.
Yeah. Also, man, shout out to Davis Bryn. You go from throwing 5 picks a week ago to a bounce back game like that and put up 40 points. Yeah. Well, unless anybody's got anything else for that, I'm locking it in. Georgia Southern -6.5. Underdog of the week pick. My South Florida Bulls are 4-point road dogs at Navy. Navy's a little worrisome, throwing the ball a little bit more often than they usually do. But we're taking the South Florida Bulls as our underdog. Money line on that game. What is the money line on that, Tip? Do you have it in front of you by chance?
I don't know.
That's all right. We'll move on. But there's a lot. Let me tell you something. There's a lot of close spreads, a lot of road dogs that have a chance this week. What you got, Tip?
I have. So I'm just going on. So I'm looking at these teams that are red hot right now. You got South Florida Bulls that are road dogs. I think we roll with them. Take South Florida Bulls money line. We just talked about them. Arkansas State going up to UMass. They are 1-point road dogs. Basically a pick 'em, but I'm going with the hot teams. I think that's another good one. Arkansas State money line.
I like that one. But yeah, there's a lot of road dogs. I'm not saying we're picking these, but Boise's 3.5-point dogs at Memphis. Buffalo 2.5-point dogs at Akron. Here's a game for you. And then this game, this is a absolute monster of a game. We'll talk about this one a lot on Saturday. South Alabama, 3-point dogs at James Madison. I mean, that is look, James Madison, they already beat Troy head-to-head. They're going to want to beat South Alabama to beat both of the favorites in the West and basically prove that they would have been the Sun Belt champions if they had a chance. And then how about Troy? 1.5, basically a pick 'em at Georgia State in Atlanta. I mean, that is a shocking line on that game. But I would have told you Troy would have been 7.5-point favorites preseason in that game. So I don't know, but we're taking South Florida money line at Navy. And then on our over-under, this could be the lowest scoring game in the history of football this weekend. Jacksonville State at Sam Houston, under 36.5. Both new Conference USA members. Both have been pretty damn good on defense. So we think that's going to continue, and we're going to take under on 36.5. And then you know the rules on the player props. Number one receiver, 5.5 receptions, take the over. Prize Picks, download the app, use our code GOFG. They'll give you a free $100, $100 match on your first time deposit. Let's make some quick one-word picks on the midweek games. There's a couple Thursday and Friday games, and then we got a bunch of voicemails we got to get through. 100 miles of hate. Middle Tennessee at Western Kentucky. Western's 5.5-point favorites at home. I don't like this short week for either team here. But let's make a pick. Start with you, Jeff. What you got?
I'm going to go with middle. I think they get it done on the road.
Tip.
I unfortunately think Malachi Corley is going to be too much for MTSU. I think it's going to be close, but I got Western Kentucky winning this one at home.
Yeah, my heart says middle. My head says Western. I just have a bad feeling that this is going to be the week that Western clicks offensively. So I'm gonna take Western. Hope I'm wrong. Temple at Tulsa. Give me Tulsa. For no other reason than they're at home. Tip, you agree?
Yes, Tulsa.
Murph.
Give me my boy EJ Warner.
EJ Warner. Yeah, there
on
you
the
go.
road. Let's air it out.
There you go. And this is our over-under, but Jacksonville State at Sam Houston. Sam Houston, 6.5-point home dogs now. But give me Jacksonville State. I think both teams are good defensively. I think Jacksonville State's run game is a little better. I think they're a little better offensively. And I'm not real sure what quarterback they're going to go with, but I like Jacksonville State to win that on the road. Murph?
Yeah, give me Jacksonville State. I think their offense is a lot better than Sam Houston's.
Tip?
Yep, going with Jacksonville State.
You got to pick them. La Tech at UTEP. UTEP is technically 1 point. You know what? Give me La Tech as our dog of the week here. I mean, UTEP, I'm over it. I can't.
Yeah, it's essentially a pick 'em. Not much juice on that, but yeah, technically they are a dog.
Yeah, I mean, my God. UTEP, I mean, I can't believe how bad they are. I mean, Jeff, you picked them to win the conference.
Samsonite, I was way off.
Yeah. Give me La Tech in that one. Tip.
Yeah, I'm going with La Tech. I'm just looking at quarterback play here. Hank Bachmeier, I think he's a better quarterback than Gavin Hardison. So,
it was about this time last year where Hardison just started figuring it out. I'm not jumping ship yet. I'm gonna stay on the minor bandwagon. They get the win at home. This sets the ball rolling, and they make a run at the conference.
You need to jump off that ship like that idiot in the Louisiana port that jumped off the cruise ship and they never found him. I mean, that's what you need to jump off this UTEP ship like that. But anyway, Jeff, we got a ton of voicemails. We got a lot of depression happening here in the college football world.
Yeah, we do.
Oh, no.
We do.
Well, let's be the support system for these young men and women that are feeling down in the dumps after 4 weeks of college football.
Let's get right to it. As always, we want your hottest takes. Give us a call. If you need to vent, whatever you need, we are here for. 615-900-4286. Let's get to our first one. Before we get to the sad ones, Zachary Brenner gets the win. Troy gets the win. It's feeling good.
Boys, it is Zachary Brenner. How are we doing? We're back in the win column. It is a good day to have a great day. You know, Trojans, you know, we had a couple of tough losses, Kansas State, and then we had James Madison. But how about the fucking Troy Trojans, baby? Racking up yards. You know, kept the receipts. You know, you don't know if the offense could do it. Well, sideways, we did it. Boy, did we do it. Kamani Vidal, 150 yards rushing, 2 rushing touchdowns. He got in his groove. Jordan Tippett, he got in that groove. Swag Bear, we did it. Went against the Trojans. That's okay. That is A-okay with me. Jeff Murphy, my boy, you broke my heart. But the Trojans won it. I'm not gonna be a sore winner. I'm just a fucking happy alumnus. Be back in the wins. It's a great day to have a great day. I'm sipping on some of that Angels Envy with a Coca-Cola splash in there. It's a great day. Watching this Colorado Oregon game. You know, got to do something. Shout out to Tez Johnson, former Trojan, transferred to Oregon to play with his brother Bo Nix, having a great start to the game. Shout out to Marshall, Virginia Tech. How about that? There we go. So does Marshall on Virginia or one of the Virginians? Who knows? But anyways, having me an Angels Envy, having me a Whiskey Coke, back in the win column. One Troy, baby. Let's fucking go.
It's a great day, apparently.
He should have went down the list and called all 3 of you idiots out and then celebrated my pick. Although I did change it about a half an hour before the show, but that's a big win.
It was the loss. It was the heartbreaking Hail Mary loss to App State last year, early in the season, that turned their season around. It could be that close loss against James Madison at home that turns their season around. Fantastic win. What a huge win for them.
And it's the same thing. It's the same thing, too. It's like they lost to App State, and then all of a sudden they were like, we're going to just run the ball. And the O-line figured it out. Kamani figured it out. And that's the same thing they did on Saturday. So we'll see if they can keep that thing rolling.
All right, well, let's get to our next one. Now we got a few pissed off App State fans. Let's start with Baker Loy.
Group of 5 guys. It's Baker Lloyd. Saturday night, 11 o'clock. Mountaineers just blew it. That was rough, man. That one hurts. You know, I talked to a few of my boys already, and we all feel the same. That one hurts. But, my God, let's talk about a few things with that game. First of all, Wyoming's a good team. They don't have a great offense, but they're still a good team, and they showed that this year. Let's get into it, though. What the was Sean Clark doing kicking 4 field goals in the first half, especially when you're in the red zone? Like, dude, you're on the road against a team that plays great defense. You're not going to get tons of opportunities to score points. So don't just kick field goals over and over and expect to win the ball game. You got to play to win. Don't just sit there and act like you want to just, you know, get a point, get another point, and think that they're never going to score against you, because that's bullshit. You're not the damn 86 Bears here, and you've shown that so far this season. Defense is okay. They're not bad. But listen, play to win the game. That was so dumb on his part. It's not Joey's fault for that pass at the end. They blitzed the house, and, I mean, the guys knew he's not been a quarterback for long. You know, don't blame him for throwing that pass. I mean, he freaked out. He just threw the damn thing. It's not the kicker's fault. Like, the kicker's trying to make the field goal. I don't know exactly why it got blocked. It's Clark's. Clark, Potts, who the ever. It's one of their faults for that weak-ass, you know, decision to kick those 4 field goals in the first half. That's so stupid. But, hey, anyway, we're showing we're a much better team than last year. I had to get that off of my chest. The boys are back, and they're going to show it. They're going to continue to show it. But I'll tell you what, it's going to be tough going down there and playing in front of nobody in Monroe, Louisiana next weekend. So, you know, they better get their heads together this week and get that focus, or it'll be real easy to slip up. So they're going to show a lot here in the next few weeks with that game and the Coastal game. Let's go Mountaineers.
Not sure if I've ever heard Baker cuss before, but
no, I didn't know he had it in him.
It's pretty fired up. It's a tough one. So we get through all the app calls.
Okay, yeah, get through them all.
And then we can talk about it a little bit.
Get through them all. They're probably all going to say the same thing.
Pretty much.
Hey, group of five guys. This is Andrew. I don't call in much, but I watch almost all the podcasts and episodes. I called in once last season after the Troy win. I'm an App State fan, and I'm doing my one phone call in this season after the Wyoming game. I had a whole long list of things I wanted to complain and rant about and go over because I'm just so mad at the coach. But I watched the post-game interview with Sean Clark, and that made me so mad. It's 1 minute and 30 seconds of him blaming our team for the loss, blaming these kids for the loss. Instead of him taking responsibility for himself, he blamed the team for the loss. And I get it. The offense made some mistakes. They didn't drive down the field. They didn't perform in the end zone and the red zone like they needed to. They drove down the field and stalled out, but that was not the offense's fault. But Sean Clark could not take responsibility for it. Did not. If he would have came out and said, this game's on me, this game's on the coaching staff, it'd be a lot different. But he didn't. He blamed the offense. He said that we didn't have any playmakers. We didn't make any plays on offense. And that just frustrates me because you cannot blame these 18 to 22-year-old kids for easy coaching mistakes that you made. And he's taking his frustrations out on the team when it's his fault. And I'm sorry. I think that's wrong. I want to know your thoughts and opinions. Peace.
Appreciate it, Andrew. Got one more. Stu's right, and then we'll try and get to all of them. All the points.
Hey guys, Stu's right from Twitter here. I'm furious. I still don't understand how in the hell we lost that game. First downs are 27-7. Total yards 417 to 208. 217 rushing yards. Just 2 penalties for 15 yards. It's unfathomable how we lost that football game. Offense didn't score a single damn touchdown. Not one single touchdown. I just baffled. I was drunk at a wedding watching it. Might have made a scene. It happens. Everybody knew I was watching the game. Trip was too. He handled it a little better than I did. I have absolutely no idea how this happens. Why try to kick a field goal there? Why not just punt? Why not go for it? I don't know. I do not know. I'm not a Fire Clark guy, but I do not agree with how he handled the end of that game. Unreal. Un-f***ing real. Anyways. Oh, God.
He's had a rough couple of weeks. Our
He
boy
has.
Stu. But a lot of people not happy with the way that game was coached down the stretch.
Was that all the App State ones?
It's all the App State ones.
I mean, okay, let me just take you inside the potential mind of Sean Clark here, though. I mean, okay, the first field goal, yeah, it was 4th and 2 from the Wyoming 8. So, yeah, I probably am a little bit aggressive there, and I go for it. The second one, it was 4th and goal from the 11. I mean, you got to kick that, and you just took a sack on 3rd and goal, so you can't take that sack probably if you're wanting to go for it on the next play. So you got to kick that one. The third one,
It was a 20-yard field goal, so that means they were on
4th
the
and
3,
goal,
right?
Yeah, 4th and goal from the 3. However, on your previous possession, you went for it on 4th and 1 and got stuffed. So you haven't shown that you can get the 4th down. You know, like I said, the first one I probably am a little more aggressive on. So now you've kicked 3, and the 4th one was a 50-yarder as time expired in the half. So you got to kick that one, and that one worked out for you. And then, the one to lose the game, I mean, you're trying to make it to where Wyoming's got to score a touchdown, which they haven't really done on offense. So you're trying to make it a touchdown game, a 7-point game there, and it gets blocked. I mean, you can't. I didn't hear his post game speech, so that could change things. But I mean, you get stuffed on 4th and 1, so now you're not confident in your offensive line and your run game to go for it the next time. It's 4th and 3. Yeah, I don't blame them for kicking though. Your defense played well, and the scores. What was Wyoming's touchdowns? A blocked field goal for a touchdown, and didn't they have a
run,
75-yard run?
Yeah.
So your defense played pretty damn good. So the field goals should have won the game for you, really. I mean, that's a game where I know the first one is early, the second one's a little early to know that your defense is playing that good. But towards the end of the game, I mean, you got to think your defense is going to hold them to where they don't score a touchdown.
Yeah, so that last one, it looks like it was a 4th and 11 from the Wyoming 29. And so, like, to your point, Sprouse, like, I mean, this is a decision that has to be made. Do you kick a field goal? And was that 29, 39, 47-yard field goal right there, 46-yard field goal to go up a touchdown? Or do you trust your defense, rely on your defense, and just do a little short pooch punt? I agree with the decision to kick it right there. You have a kicker that's already made a 50-yarder earlier in the game, so give him a chance. Put the trust in him and the field goal team to go out there and kick that field goal and put him up a touchdown. Just unfortunate that not only that it got blocked, but that it got returned for a touchdown that late in the game.
Yeah, I mean, I think App State will be fine. I mean, it's a non-conference. I think you guys have shown you're much improved on both sides of the ball going forward. That's a tough Wyoming team, so just be patient. Be a little patient.
It'll be all right. Now, don't come after me. Come after me. I would have went for the first one.
Yeah. Appreciate it,
Anyway.
guys. So let's keep it rolling. Now we got our boy Terry Johnson.
Hey, there you go. He's gonna be happy.
The group of 5 guys, Terry Johnson here, calling to tell y'all that Zion Chris, aka Cajun Jesus, pulled out another win for the Cajuns. The man was 22-29, 249, a passing touchdown, 2 rushing touchdowns. He did have 2 interceptions, but I'm not going to put that on him. The coaches didn't put him in a good position to succeed, but Buffalo played hard. They could have came back and beaten us, but the Cajun team last year would have lost this game in the end. But our team held on, so it sucks to not cover, but it's always great to win. Shout out to Buffalo for playing a tough game. Shout out to Marshall for getting that Virginia Tech win. I mean, they were favored in that game, so shout out to Marshall for beating VT Tech. And I think they're honestly not that good in the P5. Both Virginia schools in the P5 really not that good. Troy upsets West Kentucky. That's awesome. Shout out to you, Zach. Georgia Southern just obliterates Ball State. ODU just makes me ashamed that we even lost to ODU for a 1-point win against Texas A&M Commerce. Central Michigan beats South Isle, and South Isle gave the game away like we almost do with Buffalo against the MAC team. But Central Michigan is a tough team. Like, I think they're always going to be tough. And, Texas State pulls out. Shout out to you, Creme for y'all getting that. Almost gave that game away. I know y'all down like 17-0. Y'all came back, and James Madison almost gave the game away against Utah State. I'm done with this preseason, man. Ready to get to conference play. And, sorry, hey, Stu's right, bro. I love you, dog. I'm sorry. Wyoming's a good football team. Like, that's a tough environment to play in. And, now y'all should have won, but hey, Stu, I love you, dog. Sorry that had to happen. Keep your head up. Last time I'll say, Steeple, my guy. Hate to break it to you, but it's looking like Grayson McCall is the system quarterback without Jamie Chadwell, just to be honest with you. You know, that's just what I see. Anyway, God bless Group of Five. God bless Group of Five, guys. Go Cajuns, and we'll see what this Minnesota game does next week. Deion, Chris might bring it to us, bring that win. We'll see. You know, fingers crossed. See y'all. Talk to y'all next week.
Appreciate it, Terry. Yeah, should be a
System
good one.
quarterback, Jeff.
No, he's not a system. I mean, you got to have a system around a kid for him to be successful. There's no doubt about it. But he can make any throw on the field. He's athletic enough to get at it. He knows what he's seeing. He just hasn't had much time, to throw the ball this season. They don't have much of a ground game. And their defense has given up tons of points. So,
who did Minnesota didn't they just lose to somebody?
They've lost 2 in a row. 2 weeks ago, lost to North Carolina, 31-13, and then just lost to Northwestern in overtime.
Wait a minute. Hear that whole PJ Flow rowing the boat is that gimmick is up.
Yeah.
Minnesota has opened up as 11-point favorite. Give me the Cajuns to cover that, please, and thank you.
Yeah.
What else we got there, Jeff?
Yeah, let's keep it rolling. Got a couple Georgia Southern fans.
This is Five Guys, Josh Devil here. Man, what a great game for Georgia Southern. 40-3 victory over Ball Sack State, or whatever the hell their name is.
Jeez.
But, you know, that was a good get-back game for the Eagles. I mean, Davis Friend, 34-46, 344, 4 tugs. No interception. Thank the Lord. No turnovers. No turnovers this past weekend. You know, O.J. Arnold, 9 carries, 90 yards. Caleb Hood had 7 catches, 107 yards and a tug. And I was really, really pleased all around with the Eagles. Caleb Hood moving over to 2,000 receiving yards in his history at Georgia Southern. And, man, what a big weekend we got coming up in Statesboro. I mean, the Beach Chickens of Coastal Carolina come to town. And, gosh, I can't believe Coastal lost to Georgia State last Thursday. I mean, that was a surprise to me, honestly. I didn't think, you know, Coastal would blow them out, but, you know, I expected it to be more of a close game, but I know Coastal's going to come back and come into Statesboro and put up a damn fight. So I expect a good football game, you know, coming up this Saturday. And my man Steeples, sorry, but y'all are going down. Georgia Southern's beating Coastal Carolina this weekend. I mean, I'm predicting, I don't know what the line is yet, but I'm predicting a good, you know, 10-point victory over Coastal Carolina. You know, hopefully more, but Coastal's a good ball team. Grayson McCall, he's a good quarterback. I don't like Grayson McCall at all, but I got to admit, he's a good quarterback. But one thing I will say about him, he's overrated. Overrated. I can't say it enough. He will never have an NFL career. He's an overrated quarterback. He's a good college quarterback, no question about it. He's a very, very good college quarterback. Overrated. Overrated. Go Eagles, hail Southern, and hey, y'all know what time it is. Please listen to Water Hose Drinkers on Spotify and YouTube. Thank you. Group of 5 guys, y'all are the best.
Appreciate it, Josh.
You know, McCall hadn't really ascended.
I know.
Like he probably should have, and probably should have. Last year he kind of ascended, and then this year you thought was like, this dude's going to really become a household name, and it hadn't happened for him just yet. There's still some time.
Yeah, we'll see. But appreciate it, Josh. Let's get to Jim Cowart.
Group of 5 guys, what's going on? It's Jim Cowart here, calling you from my commute from the golf course this morning. Played in the Georgia Southern Alumni Scholarship Fund Tournament. Good turnout. Thanks for everybody that came out today. Anyway, just wanted to say glad my Eagles won like they did last week. They looked pretty convincing against Ball State. They did well. But mainly just calling in to say, Georgia Southern fans, Coastal fans, if you guys are not planning on coming to the game Saturday, change your plans and come to the game. It's going to be a good game, good atmosphere. We got 2,000 seats left, get out there, come and support your team. I'm super excited about this game. Coastal will be looking for blood after that heartbreaker they faced against Georgia State. And Georgia Southern's going to be looking for some revenge. So it should be a good matchup. Really excited about it. Great week of football this past week. Just calling in to do the shameless plug here. But anyway, thanks again as always for all you guys do. And guys, if you're a member of these communities where these Group of 5 schools are, get out there and get to the games. It's fun. It's fun for the family. You won't regret it. So, especially you students, this is a shout out to y'all. 20,000 students. Our stadium capacity is 25,000. No reason why we can't have a good crowd. So, having said that, everybody have a great week and enjoy yourselves.
Amen. Go to the games.
Amen to that. Go to the games, and he's right. Man, if we weren't going to Memphis, that would have been, I mean, that was on our list. But, yeah, that place is going to be insane.
Should be jumping.
The Blue Room afterwards, my God.
It's going to be electric.
Yeah, it is.
Appreciate it, Jim, as always. We got 3 more. Let's get to them. Let's knock them out. Grant, JMU fan, calling in.
Hey, boys. It is your friendly JMU fan, Grant Horan. And all I have to say is I am probably the most unhappy or frustrated fan of a team that can be 4-0 because it is absolutely baffling. After watching this JMU game, I am perplexed at the fact that we could be up 24-0 and let this game get back to the way it was. The fact that I have not seen 3 complete quarters from JMU football is just utterly atrocious. And just witnessing how the rest of the Sun Belt went about their games this weekend. You know, Marshall beating Virginia Tech, Georgia State on a roll, Georgia Southern continuing to get business done. I am extremely worried for this team because, again, the fact that we are 4-0, someone must have sold their soul to the devil, or every Sunday or Saturday morning, these JMU fans are getting up and praying to the Lord Almighty. It is insane. Love to get your takes. Sorry about the Middle Tennessee loss. Another hard-fought battle for them. But I'll tell you guys, this Sun Belt East is insane, and good luck to our team. I want high hopes, but who knows?
I like Grant.
I do too.
He's gonna get head on his shoulders.
Yeah, well, and he's the only James Madison fan that was willing to name himself and call in here and just be reasonable. That's why I like the guy.
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, it's tough to almost blow a game like that. You think you got it in the bag, and then you end up blowing it. Well, didn't they have a game like that last year where they came back on somebody? Might have been App State. I almost feel like I gotta.
It might have been. Remember. I think you may.
I feel like App State was up pretty big on them, and they came back and won. But yeah, they're a good team. But you got no pressure this year. It's not like you can win the conference, so you just
and
go out there and ruin everybody else
after this year, especially on the line. So appreciate the call, Grant. Keep them coming. Let's get to our last 2. Zach Green.
What's up, guys? Zach Green here. As Sprouse probably told you in his weekly South Florida segment, Florida International did not win this weekend. They got demolished 38-6 by the Liberty Flames. Amazing game. On the offensive side of the ball, they primarily got it done on the ground. We had Quentin Cooley and Billy Lucas, our 2 main running backs, both had 102 yards, and Caden Salter had another 77. I believe Lucas and Salter both at least had 1 touchdown. And that was thanks, of course, to the O-line. They've been great all year. I'm going to shout them out every week as long as they deserve it, and I think it's going to be deserved just about every week this season. They've been super good. Which, while I'm on the running game now, Liberty is recently found out that Liberty is second in the nation in rushing yards per game, I believe at 271 yards per game, behind only the Air Force Falcons. So sidebar here, I'm fully on the Falcons bandwagon. I watched part of their game on Friday night. They got down a little bit to San Jose State, but they came back and won reasonably comfortably. And the running game, the triple option, was killing it again for them. I know a lot of people talk crap about the triple option, how it's boring to watch, but I think it's really enjoyable to watch when it's being done well, like Air Force does it. It's a lot more than 3 yards in a cloud of dust. They can break off big runs. There's a lot of collisions. It can be really impressive and exciting to watch when it's done well, like Air Force does it. And the running back, Michelle, that they have has been really good this season. So Air Force #1, Liberty #2 in rush yards per game this season. But back to Liberty on the offensive side of the ball. The passing game was not as good as it was last week, but it was still okay. About 156 yards, I believe 11 for 21. Salter was with a few touchdown passes. I forget how many touchdown passes, but he did have one interception and one fumble, which needs to be cleaned up. But overall, cannot complain about 38 points. On the defensive side of the ball, the front seven got involved in the backfield a lot more than in previous weeks. I believe we had 5 sacks. Defensive lineman Kendi Charles, who is potentially an NFL talent, finally came back this week from injury. He recovered a fumble. And then I believe we had 2 takeaways total as well, including 1 interception. So impressive game on the defensive side of the ball. Chadwell said that this is probably the most complete game on defense that we've had all year, which I agree with. 38-6, cannot complain. Happy to be 4-0. Happy to be 2-0 in conference. Looking forward to this bye week and then a long stretch of conference games in October. But speaking of conference games, Thursday night's a big night. Got the rock fight between Jacksonville State and Sam Houston on Thursday night. Not sure that many points will be scored, but should be interesting. And then, of course, we got 100 miles of hate with your boys at MTSU and Western Kentucky playing each other. Really one of the only rivalries left in the conference. So excited about that one. That'll tell us a lot about those teams. As always, thanks, and go Flames.
Appreciate it, Zach. That guy's got it.
Spot on everything. I mean, even we're taking the under in Jacksonville State and Sam Houston too, Zach.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. Hey, spot on. Liberty's got a squad, and he's right about that Air Force option too. I mean, I like it. I'm biased, of course, but when it's running and it's clicking, it's pretty damn impressive to watch. It's like art.
Yeah.
You know, anybody can throw it a mile, Jeff. We can't pitch it 3 yards.
Nice reference. Well, let's get to our last caller. Our boy Steeple PC going to bring us home.
Oh, no.
Hey, Group of 5 guys. How you doing? This is Steeple, _PC_51. Okay, let me get right to it. Coastal took an embarrassing loss on ESPN. Yes, we did. Had some opportunities, and we blew it. But still hopeful that we can get a offensive line to respectable status to compete in the great Sun Belt. Had opportunities, didn't take advantage of it. So I'm not going to go on that. Already, a little bit down about the 4th down drop, but he's okay. Things will get better. They're going to work hard. I just wish they can straighten out that offense. It looks too vanilla. And just hope they can be more creative and put some more points on the board. Because right now, they couldn't put points on a high school team. So I'm ready to admit that. But I'm not going to go into it too much more. Got to get better in all phases of the game to beat a good team. And I don't think that Georgia State actually played that great, but they played good enough to win the game. So I'm glad they're 4-0. Like we said, the Sun Belt East is going to be very tough. Now, two other things. Congratulations, Marshall, once again. Group of 5 team beat a Power 5, and I want to hit a little bit. Jeff, give me a cue in. It's atrocious. It's atrocious. Give me a couple seconds. 1, 2.
It's atrocious.
The main media, how they overlook these Group of 5 teams that are beating the Power 5s and just make it seem as though something was wrong with the Power 5 team that allowed the Group of 5 to come in and beat them. I am so sick and tired of seeing all these, like, just walk over the fact that these Group of 5 teams are just as good as the Power 5 any day of the week. Now, you have some elite, yes. But on any given day, I think any one of these teams, especially in the Sun Belt, and maybe the American, and maybe Liberty, that will give these teams a very difficult time. Okay. Saying that, I also want to give a shout out to Zach, Troy did what they're supposed to do. The guys that called from Georgia Southern, hey man, congratulations. Old Dominion, we appreciate you letting your cheerleaders play against that sub team and keeping the score close. Very good. I mean, y'all all around great. Arkansas State, finally. Arkansas State has joined the W column. If anyone is listening to this that's from Arkansas State, please chime in. I like to hear your happy voice once in a while. Terry Johnson, I know you calling. You should be laughing at me because I sure enough laughed at you. And I don't think it will be the last time. So I'm looking forward to you giving a nice call about Louisiana and their win. Texas State creme brulee, you should be all over us, son. I don't know, what are you waiting for? Oh my God, y'all are so good. And y'all could win the West. You know, so, hey man, step up. JMU. I'm not even going to call the dude's name. Damn it, they did it again. Man, when they're eligible, you watch, when they become eligible, they're going to suck. Because right now, they're on fire. I can't say nothing about them. I want to, but I can't. South Alabama, I wish I called. Man, y'all made me into the biggest liar whatsoever, and I hate lying. Man, I had so much faith in y'all. Y'all look worse than Coastal. Man, turning your, give this Sun Belt a break. Man, take a couple of weeks off. Forfeit a couple of games and get it together. My gosh, man. Zach Green, Liberty, looking good. Man, you're the Howard Cosell of the NCAA. Hey, man, next time you get the scoop on crickets in India, hey, let me know the line on that, because I know you're going to come correct about your Liberty Flames. Guys, I hate to say it, MTSU, they're playing for second place in a beauty contest. They didn't look good at all. Yeah, you can come at Coastal, but I mean, y'all need some work also. Stu! That's all I'm going to say. Stu! See you in Conway.
He goes through
covered it all, didn't he?
He
Covered
did.
it all.
Yeah.
I don't even know where to begin on that.
I mean, just a great call. We know MTSU needs work, so you ain't got to tell us.
Don't. Oh, well, my biggest question, where has Creme Brulee been?
That
guy hadn't called in a couple weeks. He's finally got a good team, and now he's silent. Probably nervous. He thinks he's going to jinx it if he starts talking.
Exactly what it is.
Well, anyway, is that all we had there, Jeff?
That's it.
That's all we got. We appreciate those voicemails. Y'all keep calling 615-900-4286. We will be live from Memphis, the historic, I think it's called the Simmons Liberty Bowl Memorial Stadium now. Probably going to be right outside the tailgate. Boise State out at Memphis. So really excited about that game. We will be there this weekend. If you like the show, can't thank you enough. We need you to go to YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, subscribe to the channel, give us a like, give us a 5-star rating and review, leave a comment, tell your family and friends all about us. Follow us on all the social media platforms at Group of 5 Guys, which, by the way, Michael Vick follows us at this point. So we have made it, and we need you to go to group5guys.com, get you some swag that really, really goes towards hotels and traveling and all this stuff, because we do not do this full time, and we're trying to make it there, but we need your help to do it. So go to group5guys.com, get you some swag. We certainly appreciate everybody watching and listening. Group of 5 Guys, out of here.